Hey everyone, how are you doing? It's Monday the 5th of February, 6:15 a.m. I've just got in from work and I just wanted to make a quick video. Hope you're all keeping okay. One of the things that I've been noticing is on message boards where people are discussing issues relating to gambling and stuff like that is a common theme that comes up is the confusion of why can't I stop gambling? Um, and this is something that baffled me for years because I wanted to stop gambling. I knew that I shouldn't gamble. I knew that once I placed a bet, that that would lead to another and another and another, and the inevitable disaster that resulted. Because I no amount that I won was ever enough. Amount of no amount of money that I won would ever be enough, and I would always want more and more and more and more. Um, I could never walk away from gambling once I started. So I knew that um, me placing a bet was a crazy idea, but I couldn't not do it. You know, I couldn't not. I couldn't stop myself from putting on that first bet. Now, a lot of people say, and it sounds common sense. If you don't put on the first bet, you won't go on a big spree of gambling. Well, yeah, that's obvious. It's obvious. Um, but if you're like me, you find that from time to time you don't have the ability to stop yourself from putting on that first bet. So when somebody says to you, well, if you don't put on the first bet, you won't go on a spree, it's almost as daft as saying, just don't do it. And this is what a lot of therapists are trying to get us to understand. They're trying to get us to understand that we can't gamble. When, I mean, we pay good money to these professionals, and we in the hope that something will shift. And all they're really trying to do is to convince us that we can't gamble. But many of us are already convinced of that before we even go to therapy. Now, I did years of therapy. Thousands of pounds was spent on trying to get me to not do it. But the thing was, I didn't have the power to not do it. That was the problem. The problem wasn't some issue that I had way back in childhood. It wasn't my childhood that made me do it, that made me put on that first bet. It wasn't trauma that I'd experienced growing up that made me put on that first bet. What made me put on that first bet was I didn't have the power to not do it. So when people say I can't, why do I keep on gambling? Maybe the reason why you keep on gambling is you too don't have the power to stop yourself from gambling, just like me. You know, and it's not a particularly um, nice idea to think about. To think that something has us completely and totally baffled and beaten because we try to exert more willpower, and we try. The more willpower we exert, the more demoralized we become because we realize that no matter how much willpower we put in, it doesn't seem to stop us from going along. How many times have we had a period of a couple of weeks or a couple of months, or even in some cases, some people have stayed gambling free for a year or longer. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the thought arises within our mind, yeah, go on, I'll have a couple of, I'll put a bet on. And then bang, before we know it, we're back to where we were, back to square one again, completely baffled, thinking, how the hell did that happen? So my understanding is the reason why we can't, the reason why we can't stop is because we have an issue with a lack. The issue is a lack of power to prevent ourselves from doing it. We don't have the ability to prevent our mind from breaking down at the point where we need it most. It's like when that thought comes around, we need to be able to muster as much power and resilience as possible to be able to stop ourselves from doing it, because we know the end result. But at that time, it's as if that power and resilience that we can normally muster up for a variety of things, and willpower, just evaporates. It's like it's non-existent. It disappears. It's like the mind goes blank. We can't remember the misery and suffering what gambling brings us. We can't think it through to come to the conclusion that it's going to be a bad idea for me to do that. It's like we go on to automatic pilot without even realizing it, without realizing the danger. It's like we don't sense the danger, or if we do sense the danger, it's only something that's going on in the background, whereas at the forefront of our mind, everything's fine. And we have a mind that works against us, against our resolve, because our mind convinces us and reassures us that don't worry, just put £5 on, or just put £10 on, and then you can walk away after that. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. So you'll put that £10 on, you'll put that £5 on, and that'll be gone within seconds. So what happens? You won't be able to walk away because that first bet's gone on. If you're a gambling addict, you've turned the ignition key for your addiction to rev the engine up and to come out full throttle like a Formula One racing car out the pits. And this is what happens. This is what it's like. This is what it's been like for me. It may be different for you. You may be able to go in and put a bet on and feel quite satisfied and walk away after betting £10. If you can do that, fantastic. But for many of you watching these videos, I don't think you will be able to do that. And if you're not sure, give it a try. Try it. See if you can do it. Go into the bookies or deposit £10 to an online gambling site and see if you can. Now, you might think that is a crazy thing to suggest, but if it gives you an understanding of how of whether you have power or not, then it could be a vital lesson. If you're unsure whether you have a gambling addiction or not. But for many of us, you won't need to do that because you will know. But the problem that we're faced with is a lack of power. That's why we keep going back time and again when we don't want to, because the resolve not to do it again when we've gone on a spree and blown thousands of pounds or hundreds of pounds or whatever, the resolve is real. We have an absolute, utter determination never to do it again, because we know we're getting screwed over time and time again. And the conviction that we have is real. It's real. We mean every word. We mean every inch of that determination that we're not going to do it again. And it's a real, whole, heartfelt, gut-wrenching, I'm not doing it again. You know, and you would think that has power to stop us, but when we need that determination, that strength, that strength of mind to stop us from going back to gambling, at the precise moment we need to muster all of that energy, all of that power, all of that resolve, it's not available to us. It's not there. It disappears when we need it most, when we can't rely upon it. That's why we can't rely on willpower. That's why we keep going back again and again and again, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade. That's why we've been having our lives destroyed through this addiction, because we don't have the power. We lack power to bring about the determination to stop us on those times when we're going to go back and gamble again. And this is why within 12-step fellowships, they talk about, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity, or talk about being open to the possibility, or developing a willingness to believe that something other than us can give us power to stop that whole cycle carrying on again and again and again. So if you're asking yourself and scratching your head, why do I do it? Lack of power may be the root of your problem. A lack of power to resist it, and a lack of power to stop yourself and prevent yourself from gambling again. And if a lack of power, and you identify that a lack of power is your problem, what's going to happen? You are going to gamble again. You are going to gamble again if you are powerless over gambling. If you are powerless over your addiction to gambling, you will gamble again. That is why you keep going back again and again and again, and cannot stop yourself from going back again and again and again. So it will continue again and again and again until you get power from somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to make this video, and hopefully that this video can really resonate with people. You know, and yeah, it's a tough subject. It's a tough subject, because we want all the time to be able to rely upon our resources, our own resources of will. But when it comes to gambling addiction, it's game over. Our resources of will won't cut the mustard, which is why we go back to gambling all the time, and we can't stop ourselves, because this is it. Eventually, if we have no power, eventually we are going to gamble again. This is why we do it, because we lack power to stop ourselves. So anyway, that's all for me now. take care. If you're new to the channel, stick around, have a look through some of the videos that I've done. If you find that you can relate to these videos and you find that these videos are helpful to you, please like the videos, subscribe to the channel, share the videos, because gambling addiction is the unseen epidemic of our time. It's the unseen epidemic of our time, and there's millions of people suffering in silence. So do us a favour, like the videos, share them, subscribe, and help people who are needing this information and needing to be able to relate to somebody to gain a little bit of understanding about what's going on in relation to their issues around gambling. You can help them by liking these videos and so on. So take care. Bye for now.